Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real, and I'm your host, Bob Gallagher, joined by phone today by Susan Piracini of Compass. She's the managing director of the Piracini Group. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.
So we asked you onto the show today to talk about the Boston market, and you're representing a little bit different segment than most of the agents we have on, where your focus is primarily on-site sales and marketing of condos in and around the Boston area. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's different from traditional marketing?
Sure. Well, with traditional marketing, technically you would take a buyer or a seller client and work with them on one sale until it's finished. With on-site sales and marketing, you are on-site at a condo project or a single-family home project from inception through the last closing. And we get involved pretty much from the very beginning, months and months before the shovel is even put into the ground with the developers. We work hand-in-hand with their architects and interior designers to, work on the design development of the product that they're going to be building, that we'll be selling. We help them find out, what finishes the buyer would like to see, what today's buyer is kind of leaning towards in terms of trendy finishes and fixtures, things like that. And then we start the pre-marketing, usually around 6 months before we launch the model home and open up the sales center.
So you're involved from the very beginning.
It's a little bit different in that if you were to go to a condo project sales center, the person that you would speak with, pretty much there's not a single question that you could ask that salesperson that they wouldn't know the answer to. We know everything about the development, and we are pretty much committed to that site until it's done.
So you're there from the beginning, in some cases, even before the design of the building starts.
Correct.
Now, are more of the projects you're working on these days, are they conversions, or you're starting from a piece of dirt in Boston?
It's actually a mix of both. I mean, we've had multiple condo conversion projects because the apartment buildings, the larger apartment buildings, the owners are seeing that it's definitely worth it financially to sell to a developer or a builder to build condominiums. And then out in the suburbs where there's more land, that's where they're building from the ground up, brand new construction.
I get it now. So one of the things you mentioned was design and trying to anticipate, what the client's needs are going to be. What are some of the trends that you're seeing, and what are the things that builders are trying to include to attract buyers' attention these days?
Some of the cool things that I'm seeing now, buyers are wanting, electrical outlets in the garages for their Teslas, and some of the higher-end finishes like the Instant Hot on the stove and the really, really upscale kitchen appliances, the Wolf, the Sub-Zero fridges, things like that, things of that nature. And also the smart home features, where if you're traveling a lot, you land in Logan, and before you even get into your Uber to get home, you can turn on the heat or the AC, turn a few lights on, remotely from your phone, things like that.
Okay, so it's a lot of technology type stuff. And are you seeing that
exactly
just in the higher end homes, or are they including some of that stuff in the mid-range as well?
The mid-range as well. I mean, some of it's very affordable, and I think technology is a big part of what everybody's wanting to incorporate into their living experience.
Yeah, it does make it a lot easier. I even added that those Nest thermostats to my house, so I wouldn't have to deal with thermostats anymore. I love them.
I know, isn't that great?
Yeah, it is. It is. So why don't we talk a little bit about the team concept with real estate agents and what that means for buyers and sellers versus working with a single agent?
So I actually lead up a team of 4, and I have 2 buyer agents, and I have a full-time marketing coordinator. So the philosophy behind my team is that, I came to realize that I couldn't be all things, and I didn't like to do every single thing that it requires in a transaction to bring it to fruition. My skill set is more geared towards relationship building and being out there and landing, clients. And then I hired the 2 buyer agents because their skill set was more in showing property and doing, the administrative paperwork side of the business. So the way that our team works is I usually bring the listings to the team, and then I assign a showing specialist to the home who is familiar with that home and all of its features, etc. And they accompany all of the showings. We like to accompany our showings because, if a buyer agent brings a buyer, a prospective client to our property, and we're not there and we let them use the lockbox and go in, there's not really any way they're going to be able to fully educate that buyer on all of the features of the home because they haven't been there and they don't know the home themselves. So we like to have a showing specialist assigned to each property, and that gives us, and our sellers the confidence that each buyer that comes through the door learns every feature about the home so that they can decide whether it's a consideration for them or not before they go on to the next one on their list. That works really well for us. We also have a full-time marketing coordinator who supports, the three agents on the team, pushing out our social media, putting together our collateral. We do very, very upscale marketing packages for each one of our listings. We do virtual tours with Matterport, which is a new kind of self-guided virtual tour, if you will. It's a really cool new software program that's out there. We put together brochures. We have property-specific websites. We do a lot of marketing for the professional photography and floor plans, etc. And she handles all of that, which frees us up just to be out servicing our clients. So it really works well. And the other great thing about having a team is that you can actually have a life and take a vacation and not worry that your business is falling apart and there's nobody there to cover, or you have to get somebody who doesn't know, intimately your deals to cover for you, things like that. So our team works really well. Additionally, we transitioned to a new company this year called Compass, and that has also helped the team because of the resources that are available to us through Compass.
Excellent.
Compass is out of New York City. They opened in 2013, and it's a really cool technology-driven company, very, very different from a lot of the brokerages existing here in Boston, in that the founding partners are not from the real estate world at all. They're from the technology sector, the financial sector. And so the business model that we work within is they've provided us with a fully staffed office of graphic designers, engineers, IT people, basically doing everything for us and freeing us up just to be able to go out and list and sell and interact with our clients. So we don't have to do a lot of the stuff that usually you would have to do at a traditional brokerage.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent
company.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the condo market in Boston in general?
The condo market is still very, very hot in Boston in general. I'm finishing up 2 projects in Brookline right now in Chestnut Hill, condo projects, and they're selling very well. One of them we just closed, believe it or not, $305,000 over the asking price.
Oh, wow. I can't even
imagine. We listed it at $1,045,000. There were multiple offers, and I believe there were 3 offers. Were very similar, and we said to all of the buyers, come back with your best and final. And one of the buyers came back $305,000 over the asking and closed on that unit at $1,350,000.
And how big of a unit was it?
That unit was just shy of 2,000 square feet.
Wow, 1.35. I just can't imagine getting to the point where things sell for 30% over asking price.
Me either. However, this particular buyer really placed the value on the fact that that condo was in the location she wanted. Mm-hmm. It was in a secure building. She was, she was by herself, so she knew she'd be safe there. It was a secure building, and it was in a location that had great walkability features. She could walk to, the street, that little outside destination shopping center in Brookline. She could walk to the grocery store. She was an older woman. She could walk pretty much anywhere and feel safe and secure. And so for her, it was worth it to just blow every other buyer out of the water with an unbelievable offer.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And
Yeah.
with the inventory as tight as it is, it's not like, 10 more places you're going to be in love with are necessarily coming on the market anytime soon.
Exactly. The inventory's been tight. I mean, I'm still seeing, though, some condos sitting. If they're not priced right at the beginning and they're not positioned correctly or marketed correctly, they are sitting. I mean, there are some condos right now in Boston sitting for over 300 days on the market. And
now, is there something wrong with it that makes it not as nice as the other ones that are selling, or is it just that it's completely overpriced?
Well, some of them, like yesterday I was at a broker tour at the Hooper Mansion on Beacon Street. They're absolutely phenomenal units. They're, one just sold for $9.9 million.
Wow.
There are a couple on the market in the 9s and the smaller ones in the 3s. Very, very, very high-end luxury new construction. Now, if you look at the days on market in MLS for those properties, the reason that the days on market are so high is because they weren't built. They started marketing them, pre-marketing them pretty much before construction started.
Right.
That's not the norm. But for the usual condo that's already existing resale condominium in a building in Boston that's on the market for 300 or more days, it's usually a situation where it was priced incorrectly out the gate. And it sat and it became stale. And then, multiple price reductions and things like that.
And with the way things have changed in real estate, especially over the last 3 years, it seemed like it went from a buyer's market to a seller's market pretty much overnight. Even when things got crazy in 05 and 06, I don't ever remember anything like what we're seeing now. And I think a lot of the difference is that, back then people were doing it because they were trying to make a buck, buy something, at a relatively decent price and flip it in 6 months and make a profit. But now, because there's been so little building over the last, 10 years or so, there's such a shortage. We're just seeing these ridiculous prices now. It's just kind of crazy to see how quick it changed. But do you see that the mentality with people is, well, that house is still on the market after 3 weeks, there must be something wrong with it, rather than just looking at the price
all day long. Whereas in a I guess normal, for the lack of a better word, market, or a market years ago, 3 weeks wouldn't be a long time to have your home on the market.
Right.
But in today's world, it is a long time. Number one, everything's digital. So every showing that we have, I kind of consider it a second showing because the buyer has already been online, been through our virtual tour, been through, even if it's not a virtual tour, a property where it's just photography, floor plans. They've, looked at Google Maps. They've looked up and down the street. So when they get there, they already have pretty much know what they're coming into. So everything's really just at the speed of light nowadays. So, yeah, 3 weeks does seem like a long time to be on the market for a property that's priced correctly, which is absurd because it shouldn't be, but
it really is. It used to be typical you'd have a house on the market for a couple of months before you'd even get an offer on it. Now, if you don't have five offers by the time it's hit 5 days on the market, everybody assumes there's something massively wrong with it. It's kind of crazy how fast the mentality changed in the business. So what's
another trend that I'm seeing with growth and building in Boston and with all of these towers is the amenities that are going into them, and the fact that now people are leaning towards purchasing in these buildings that have not only the things that usual buildings have, like the on-site fitness center and maybe a small, club room or business center, but now they have, restaurants, and they have spas, and they have, full bars and fitness center with a hairdressing shop and a barber shop, and there's a tunnel that connects it to a Roach Brothers or a Whole Foods. You virtually don't even have to leave your home anymore to get any kind of service that you need.
That actually sounds very appealing.
It is appealing.
But I imagine there's a price to pay to have that kind of convenience, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. The buildings that have those features and that are coming up that are going to have those features, the pricing is really through the roof, and the condominium fees are high too. However, again, these people place a value on that because it's convenient for them, and so it's worth it to them.
So what's a typical condo fee going to be for an average unit in a building with that many amenities?
It's usually a couple $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Depends on square footage. It's usually like, the fee is a certain amount, a dollar amount per square foot. but I know in Millennium Tower, I believe it's close to $2,000 a month for the average size unit. But you have to remember, for that condo fee, you're getting incredible service, 24-hour doorman, concierge to take care of your every need, valet parking, and again, access to fitness center, a movie theater, a bar room, a restaurant with top chefs. I mean, it's just, they can come up to your home and cater a dinner party for you. A masseuse can come up, a physical therapist. It's really amazing.
Kind of like living in a luxury hotel, it sounds like.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's like.
So we're coming down to
personally, Bob,
but yeah, I wouldn't either. That's why I just assume. So we're coming down to the last couple of minutes. So I wanted to give out your contact info. Again, we're speaking with Susan Piracini. She's the managing director of the Piracini Group at Compass, based on Newbury Street in Boston. If you have any interest in buying or selling property in Boston and the surrounding towns, you can give Susan and her team a call at 781-475-2475. Again, it's 781-475-2475. I just have one more quick question before we run out of time here, and that's, what do you think's got to happen in the Boston market to kind of alleviate some of the inventory pressure that we have? Is it all about new construction, or is it people relocating to Florida and retiring?
New construction and conversions.
Yeah.
I mean, the Flower, warehouse just sold, and I thought a couple of developers were bidding on that to put condos there. Any free land, they're going to build on it. And if you look at the BRA website or go on constructionwire.com, you'll see that there are so many projects in the planning stages right now that have been approved and are just waiting for different variances to go through to begin building. I think the building boom is going to continue for a long. We're going to be seeing cranes all across Boston for a long time.
Well, that's good news for all of us in real estate and mortgages, that's for sure.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us on the show today, Susan. We have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.